Yeah, you know what time it is. We are about to pull up to the range. Blasting some good music. This is so there's a couple of stations where I live. 99.5 is a good one, and 103.5 is another really good one. And that's what my radio stays on non-stop. So praise the Lord. We're rolling in. Oh, look at it. Ah, there's like nobody here. Man, I love it when you pull up to the range and there's basically zero people there. Oh, looks like somebody's trying to sell their truck. That truck's for sale if anybody's wanting it. Alright. Oh yeah, and they have like camper hookups, water and power. So that's pretty cool. If you want to pull in here for a weekend, like for a match or something. Gotta get more key fob. Oh, and this is one of my favorites too here currently. It's a good one. That's a good song. But we got a couple of folks down here on the pistol side. Looks like she's learning how to shoot. That is awesome. Good job, sir. I got the Nemo with peach and mango added to it from New Hope Nutrition, aka the Alabama Reloader. That's my favorite drink. Look at that, not a soul. All right, well, I'll get unpacked here and get set up. Today's 30-06 day. All right, guys, so out here at the range, since I pulled up, there's a father and son who pulled up just down from me. They're shooting some steel. But we're out here shooting with the M1917 chambered in 30-06, and then also the Ruger American chambered in 30-06. It's really windy, so you're probably hearing all that on the video right now. It's blowing basically directly in my face, so we're just gonna send a few rounds and see how it does. right, now we're switching to the Ruger American. because father son, they drove down to the 50-yard side. They're on the other side of the berm from me, but the groups are not great at all. Not necessarily terrible on the 1917. These are the first rounds I put through it, and then also before I came out here, I actually cleaned the barrel pretty good. Just looking down, it looked like it hadn't been cleaned in a while, so I did scrub it, not too aggressively, but I did run a brush down it and then ran some copper remover through it and cleaned it out pretty good. It actually, I was getting bits of copper out of it and all that, so yeah, you can see that's the first group we shot. That's so we're shooting the 165 grain spear Grand Slams, and we're using Ramshot Hunter powder. Yeah, Ramshot Hunter, and that's the highest velocity option in spears manual. That was the first, and we're starting at 58 grains. I think the minimum starting charge is like 57.4, so we're just barely above their minimum. That was 58, so actually not a bad group at all. Point of aim was right there. I bore sighted it. I kind of lined it up where that was dead center, and I did the best I could. Not bad of a bore sighting job there at 100 yards. Not a bad group to start, but then next one, look at that. And then the third one, you know, opened up again also, so not great there. Now the Ruger American is not necessarily performing, well, it's performing better, but that was our first group. These are the Nosler 150 grain ballistic tips. Second group, third group. So yeah, now I got 2 more groups to shoot with each rifle. Point of aim will be down here for the, I'll make a scope adjustment left, and then point of aim will be down here for the last 2 groups for the 1917, and then up here for the Ruger. So yeah, not the best thing ever. Oh yeah, this is like the big downside of this range, is if it's rained like it has the past, seems like the past week it's rained just about every day, then you get this kind of mess. So you better bring your boots. But hopefully these last 2 groups with each one, maybe it'll show some promise. I'm not super concerned with the 1917. You know, we're just gonna have to see, have to find what that barrel likes in terms of bullet powder combination. So no big deal. I think I have probably maybe like 70 or so of those Grand Slams. So I'd like to maybe find a decent hunting load for it. I've got, let's see, I've got another interesting bullet choice for this setup. I've got it on order from Midway, so I think it'll be a very interesting option when it comes in. I'll do a video on it and all that. So yeah, slightly muddy, but all right. Well, I'll just cut the range footage here. That way I can focus on shooting, and then I'll see y'all back at the house when we go over the results. So, all right, so we have made it back to the house, and I was able to put the calipers on these groups up here, for the Ruger American, that load development that we're working on there. Let's see, down here on the M1917, there's really nothing worth measuring. This was that first group at 58 grains of ram shot hunter with 165 grain spear Grand Slam. So those 3 shots there. This is a separate group, these 3 down here. And that was the best one. It came out to like 1.3 inches, so really no need to measure anything else. I think it's safe to say we're probably not going to, we'll probably load up some more with the 165s, but you know, our best group out of what we tested, you have to keep that in mind, it was 58 grains, so we may actually go a little bit less than that. The minimum, according to the manual, is 57.9, so we might actually just start there and load up between 57.4. Yeah, did I say 57.4? I think I did. 57.4 grains up to 58, and we'll see if it is a little bit tighter on the lower end. We'll just go with that because we just need a good load that we can throw in there and go hunting with, you know, kill a deer out to a couple hundred yards, so that'll get the job done. But up here, what was interesting about these results is I went with the load. If you go back and watch the last 30-06 video that I did for this rifle, the Ruger American, my buddy Kyle loading up some stuff for him. It's, you know, if you go back and look, these were the group sizes that we got, right? We're using brand new Starline brass, Nosler 150 grain ballistic tip, which has been a great bullet in 30-06 for a couple of loads that I've worked up anyway. Remington large rifle primers, of course, ram shot big game powder. That's been, that continues to be one of my top recommendations for powder for 30-06. And then we just did 3-shot groups. You know, kind of had some ugly stuff, if you'll recall, on the target for that last video. And then all of a sudden, things tightened back up quite a bit at 57.2 grains. And I was pretty pleased to see that, but then, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, we just rattled off, you know, some pretty bad groups, and now it tightened up to 1 inch. Maybe I just got lucky. Well, then the group right after that was even better, right? Slightly better, just under 1 inch. So I wanted to focus on that range, but I decided just to load up some test charges at 57.5, and I adjusted the seating depth. I was jumping 10 thousandths. So I started, and these were all loaded at 3.32, right? That was my middle group up here on this target was 3.32. So that's what we shot last time, cartridge overall length. And so I ended up going 20 thousandths above and 20 thousandths below. And I'm just jumping in 10 thousandths increments, right? So 3.34, 3.33, 3.32, 3.31, and then 3.3. So that was kind of the basis of the test here. I wanted to see, you know, if we could validate that group was in fact a legitimate group previously, right? If it would be close to 1 inch, then that would kind of give me some more confidence. And then also, if we tweaked our overall length, right? That's kind of the big thing that a lot of people are on nowadays, is seating depth tests and you know, modifying your seating depth, find a halfway decent load with your powder, good velocity stabilization, and then tweak your seating depth to really dial in the load from there. So that's kind of the path that a lot of people are going down. And so I just wanted to see what that would look like for this. And it kind of worked out pretty good. Definitely better than what I expected. I was hoping to see slight improvement, but we saw a decent amount of improvement as we got shorter in our overall length, right? We started off at our longest overall length that we tested. Group was pretty terrible. And after I shot that group, I was like, oh, here we go. You know, I was like, man, this is gonna be a rough range day if I loaded up 15 rounds and they're all gonna be garbage. And then right after that, kind of had a promising. So I will say this, that I did make a scope adjustment after this group, okay? And I wanted to go ahead and make that adjustment. I wanted to be shooting high at 100, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches high at 100. That way Kyle can just hold on the vitals of a deer out to, a couple hundred yards, and he's not going to have any issues whatsoever. That was really the goal with how I set this up. And so once I shot this group, I made a scope adjustment up. So I just came up, and then I shot the next group, and we were still kind of to the left. And we saw that in the previous video too. Our point of impact was to the left. So I made an adjustment to the right and left it at that, and we were right exactly where I wanted to be for the next 3 groups. But this one tightened up, the 3.30, it tightened up to 1.28, and it did that where you put a couple together and then you had one a little bit further out. Same thing at 3.32. So remember, this is what we shot the last time. This is the overall length that we shot in this charge, and that was the group that we had. So the group opened up, but again, 2 together, and then you had one a little bit further out. And then the shorter we went, the tighter the groups got. Now this one did open back up to a 1 inch, but I was very pleased with how these 2 groups, they're almost identical in terms of the pattern, right? And how they lay out. So I was pretty happy with that. Very happy to see the results that we got. All we're looking for is something 1 inch or better. That's kind of what the goal was. That way we could turn over some hunting ammo to him. That way he's got confidence going into the woods this upcoming deer season. So this was never really meant to be a super in-depth, really ring it out type process or project. We really just wanted to find a decent load, load up 20 or 30 of them, hand them over to him and say, here you go, you should be good to go. If you don't kill a deer, it ain't the gun's fault, right? It'll perform. So now you just got to do your part. So we're just going to go with that 3.310 overall length. I feel good, even, with a little bit of throat erosion, right? And that bullet gets further and further away from the lands. We're not going to open up to anything too crazy, right? So I feel pretty confident in that load and that kind of methodology and that process. So that's where we're going to leave it. We're going to just call it done, get this stuff loaded up back over to him. And then next we'll be transitioning to focusing on this M1917, because we're going to have to try to dial in something, much better than this. So I did get in some bullets today that I wanted to test. They're kind of a unique bullet. They're actually designed for the 30-30. And I was on Midway's website looking at available bullets, and they're the Barnes 150 grain bullet specifically for the 30-30. And I was reading some reviews on them, and people have been using them in 30-06 and just raving about them, right? As far as the ability to take game and their accuracy and all that. So I just want to give them a shot. I know I can go get the 165s, or whatever, the 168 tip TSX, all that. I get it, but I just wanted something different. So we're gonna give that a shot. I got 2 boxes of them. So I will probably, the next round of testing, I'll probably load up some more 165 Spears and the 150 Barnes just to see how they shoot, if they shoot halfway decent. Yeah, and we'll go from there. So that's it. That's all. Hope everyone has a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. This video hopefully is getting posted on Friday. Make sure you guys go check out Mr. Big Guns over in Huntsville. I was in there earlier, and he's got a little bit of powder on the shelves, not a ton. He's got a decent bullet selection on the shelves. Obviously firearms. Anything you could think of. Scope selection. He's got a ton of Leupold optics in house now. Vortex, Athlon. So really, really good stuff. A ton of ammo too. Y'all go check him out. Matt down there at Mr. Big Guns. Y'all go see what they got, pick you up something. And then also, don't forget Midway Pistol and Ammo out in Gurley. Go see those guys as well. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. So we'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a good one.